And welcome to Profile Pod TV. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another splendid, spectacular episode of the Profile Pod. We are in for a grand treat today. I hope you guys are ready. Strap on your seatbelts because we are going for a journey tonight. We are going for an adventure. So, really excited about tonight's episode. And before I go any further, I just want to say that tonight's episode epitomizes what this show is all about, Profile Pod TV, because we like to bring individuals on who are inspiring, who do unique things, who have unique backgrounds, who are successful entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are extraordinary. Okay, that's the essence of Profile Pod TV. And tonight, like I said, these individuals here really capture that. So, like I said, if you guys are ready for an adventure, sit tight. Before we get to our special guest, though, I want to do a quick shout out, as we always do. Want to give a quick shout out to Jose Perez, Murdoch 2000, for putting us together here, putting us in touch with each other with Above the Hook Productions. So shout out to Jose. Hope you're doing well out there, Jose. Hopefully we can get you on there, man. So also, right. Also want to give a shout out to $20 Julio, the DJ extraordinaire. Really enjoy what you do out there, Julio. So, like I said, man, hopefully we can get you on here as well. And really appreciate what you do. If you guys are into music at all, as most of us are, right? Then you'll enjoy what $20 Julio does. He puts on a DJ. He's a DJ. Puts on a show every Saturday night on the ones and twos, and he puts on a variety of music. So everything from old school hip hop to R&B and what have you. So check out $20 Julio on Instagram. Like I said, man, I'm really juiced up for tonight's show. These guys are just phenomenal. What they do is phenomenal, and it's a pleasure to have them on. So let's go ahead and bring these guys on. Let's go ahead and get on with the show. Profile Pod TV live here on YouTube. So here we go. Tonight's guests hail from Central California. Okay, they're three individuals who, like I said, man, epitomize the soul of an adventurous one. Okay, they go on journeys that I'll probably never, ever, I can never foresee myself doing, man. Who knows? Never say never, right? They say never say never, but the likelihood of me getting on a kayak, probably will probably never happen. But you know what? I admire these guys for what they do. They do just that, as well as so much other. We're going to get into everything that they do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce to you Above the Hook Productions. Guys, how are you tonight?
Awesome,
all right,
man.
Andy, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. Ryan, I think I heard you say you guys had never done anything like this before. So it's a pleasure having you. Maybe giving me the exclusivity of the first time of doing this, man. Something like this for you guys.
So actually,
Hold on,
two things.
Wait.
All right.
We're kind of traditional in the way we have to start this whole thing off with something that we typically do.
Okay.
And that's called tequila.
Oh. Cheers, guys. I got my beer. I don't have tequila, but I got a
Hey, that works.
Beverage of choice here, guys.
Gotta get things started.
That's right. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, man. All right, man.
Paul started us off there. So actually, two things. So yeah, this is the first time we've ever done anything like this. This is completely outside our box, especially Alex, because we can never get that guy to talk. So
I'm a serious guy.
But tonight we're gonna make him talk. So yeah, no, man, it's a pleasure. Like you mentioned, Jose Perez hooked us up, and I appreciate that too. Hopefully he's watching right now. We just definitely wanted to get outside our box and just try something different. That's what we're always kind of wanting to do. And the second thing, in the beginning, you mentioned that you'll never get on a kayak. Okay, about that. Everyone I've taken out on a kayak has pretty much bought one and started this sport. So don't say, like you said, never say never, man. We could get you out. We pass by you all the time heading down south. So just the invite's there if you're ever interested. So
wow, man. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, you're right. Never say never, but we'll see. We'll see what comes up down the line, man. Because I do have a little bit of adventure in my blood, man, and I'm always up for something new, man. So, especially in the great outdoors, right? Having to do with the great outdoors. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Williams, Ryan Arguello, and Alex Casillas are the trio that make up Above the Hook Productions, man. So, guys, man, what's up with you guys, man? What's new in the world of Above the Hook Productions? Before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything, I kind of want to check in with you guys, man. See how life's been treating you during this whole time, especially with this quarantine stuff and this whole thing. Are you guys still out doing excursions, going on trips the last couple months during this whole thing?
Yeah, so I mean, we have been actually. It's pretty much sporadic, but we do get out on the water. And pretty much been dealing with like this COVID stuff like everyone else is. So just kind of sheltering in place. So it does make it a little difficult, but yeah, definitely we've been getting out there for me at least. So
Yes, same thing with myself. It's been touchy, the situation, wanting to get out on the water, wanting to fish, wanting to film, but yet it's such a sensitive topic that, we kind of been holding back a little bit, but have been going.
Have you guys been going out together or kind of separately during this time?
Went out not too long ago. What is it? A week and a half ago?
yeah, about a week and a half ago.
I'm sorry, you went together?
Yes.
Yeah, Alex and I took off and pretty much went out. We wanted to target halibut, and we succeeded. So it was a good trip. But yeah, we'll come up with these plans like on a whim. We always contact each other to make sure who's on board. We actually have a calendar that we kind of keep updated of our schedules, so we can kind of look to see when there's openings. And we try not to let this COVID stuff get us down. Ultimately, the kayak fishing is probably the ultimate social distancing. So, but like Alex said, it is a sensitive topic. They are tightening down on a lot of things, but we find a way. So
yeah, we're just trying to do our part, in protecting those around us and what have you. And luckily, like Ryan said, it's one of the best ways to social distance is on the water in a single man plastic boat.
Yeah, that's right, man. But things are starting to open up, I think, throughout the state, right? I think slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Right. They're in the second phase right now, getting ready to jump into the third phase, from my understanding, on Tuesday. And when that's the case, then a lot of stuff is going to open up for at least us.
Well, I don't know, man. Here on the Central Coast, it's like wide open.
Yeah.
It's been pretty hot, I guess, in the valley and areas over what we call the hill. So a lot of people are flocking towards this area and filling the beaches, which I don't blame them. The temperature's right over here, and people want to get out of their houses. We completely understand, but at the same time, we want to keep everybody safe around us and do our part.
For sure, man. So I think it's safe to say that I think all of our, the patients have been. Our patience have been tried, right? Everybody's patience here,
especially our wives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you guys heard my wife earlier. I heard a couple minutes ago, man. Before we got on.
Yeah.
Put some. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, man, that's awesome.
Shout out to the wives out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For sure. Shout out to the wives. I work at a hospital, so I'm an essential worker. So I go to work every day. And I know Paul does too. Alex, I can't speak for, but the wife's at home with the kids, and I can't even imagine how trying that is. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can tell you with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and trying to work from home. Yeah, it's so.
That's actually my situation right now with all my kids. I had to actually make the decision to take care of my kids and stay home because unfortunately I didn't have childcare that was going to work while keeping their schooling up. My priority was keeping their schooling up. So I've been home, and I tell you what, I have a high appreciation for teachers now.
Oh yeah,
Holy crap.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shout out to the teachers
Shout out to the teachers, man. 'Cause
and the stay-at-home dads. You know, I mean, they're out there too, and they're doing their part. And but I think just anyone that can stay at home and like my wife, run our business, and you know, not only that, we've got an 8-year-old that's in, you know, doing the Zoom classes. And then our 8-year-old is also a competitive gymnast. So she's literally, our living room is basically set up as a gym now.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I have a gym.
I just couldn't imagine, you know, running this role in the house. So I'm so fortunate to have someone here that can do that for us.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all blessed. We're all blessed in our own way, right? So
Absolutely.
definitely, man. Glad you guys brought that up. Shout out to the wives, the husbands, all the good people, the essential workers, all the good people out there, man. All the solid workers. You know, it's all team effort, man. So we're all in the same world, right?
That's right.
Guys, so guys, how did you guys meet, man? Let's go back a little bit here. How did this whole thing come about? But first of all, yeah, how did you guys meet?
Well, Alex we met Alex a little later down the line. I don't know if maybe I want to start with Paul, because Paul, I don't know, did you just move here when I met you?
No, I had been here for a couple years already.
Okay. So what happened was I was at our local, we call it our local launch spot, which for Paul, it's fantastic. He's like literally 2 minutes away from it. Yeah.
I'm pretty fortunate.
Unfortunately, I got to get up at 2 a.m. to get there every time. But
where's that again? I'm sorry, Ryan.
That's over at Montana de Oro is our kind of our local like launch spot that we tend to go. Actually, this picture behind me right on this screen was taken at Montana de Oro. So that's kind of our local spot. But basically what happened was I was probably about a year into kayak fishing, and was out there and came ashore with we had our fish for the day. It was myself and my father-in-law, and we ran into Paul Williams Jr. here. And we just started talking. And in fact, I wish I could have pulled up the original picture. I actually have a picture of us because we fished together. And I took the picture the very first day we met. And since then, we fished all the time together.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met Paul. So we just basically started fishing and getting together all the time, and that was our kind of our passion. So we were able to share that passion, and since then it's been, I don't even know how long, 8 years, 7 years,
like
somewhere around
that.
there.
Yeah.
Right. So,
okay.
And then I can let Alex speak to how he kind of tied in with us here.
Well, once they got, I think the first time Above the Hook started, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, the first trip was La Jolla, right?
Yeah, that's the first time we met. Yeah,
and then that's
in fact, if you go to the YouTube video, if you go to our YouTube video, you can actually see the first time Paul got to meet.
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
because he's in that video.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was that these guys started Above the Hook, and they quickly realized they needed a good-looking male. And so they went online and they Googled best looking kayak fisherman male model.
Oh, there you
popped up. And Ryan hit me up right away. I said, sure, sounds like fun. So there I go. No, actually, Ryan is actually a social butterfly. And I think if I'm not wrong here, you reached out to me through Instagram, correct?
Correct. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's what I remember. So, in this sport, I mean, I'm an ambassador to like a lot of different companies. We all are, you know. And one of the things is just to kind of invite people to this sport, an ambassador or not. I mean, personally, I want to invite people to the sport because, especially people I know that fish, because it is so outside of the box and so different than what everyone else is doing. I want to draw people in, and I invite people. Anyone. I mean, you could look again on our YouTube. It clearly states, hit us up if you want to fish. We are down. We'll go meet with anyone. We'll go fish with them. And that's kind of how I ended up first meeting Alex. And that's how he got the invite to La Jolla, where we usually fish down south. But we ended up fishing, I think, Lake Nacimiento over here in was it Nacimiento, I believe?
It was.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And basically introduced myself to him at that point, and we fished together. And since that time, Alex and I have always fished together.
And I think the reason for that is because I think we all have an understanding at that time that it's hard to find people that want to fish like at the amount of time that we do. Like very sudden, consistently. And I could not find people that were willing to take a quick trip down south, or take a last minute good weather trip or whatnot. And I think we found out that we had that in common.
When Alex says a quick trip down south, it means like it's Thursday night and we get a random text message. Hey guys, we're going to go to La Jolla tomorrow.
Wow. Okay.
And we all meet up and we bomb down to La Jolla. We don't sleep. We're up for 17, 20, 27 hours?
No.
I think our record's 46.
46 hours. Okay.
Wow.
Alex holds that because he had to drive from my house. So mine was 2 hours less.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a moment's notice. You guys are gone on a moment's notice pretty much sometimes. Well, is that how every trip works?
When the bite's on, we have a lot of intel. And if it's on, then you got to go.
So it's a fishing thing kind of thing, right? Where, like you said, the bite's on and the fish are out there. That's when you got to go.
Right.
The fish to me are always out there. Just to how much, to what extent. I'm more looking at the weather, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But the weather is the dangerous part. So I'm looking at weather. I'm looking at swell forecasts, wind forecasts, especially. And when I see good weather, then it's like we're calling each other and we're like, hey, do you see the reports? And then we start planning and then we start going. So yeah, it's pretty much the weather for me. That's what I'm looking at, because being that I'm like in the Central Valley where these guys are on the Central Coast, I got to be a little more strategic about it, because if I drive all the way out there and then it's washed out with bad weather, I'm not going to launch in it. I basically got to turn right back around and come home.
Oh, wow. How often does that happen, Ryan?
It's happened only once.
Oh, okay. So
now, there's other times where I probably should have turned around, but I thought I could make it. And I ultimately did make it, but, it was pretty gnarly.
Hey, we really couldn't turn around in Panama, could we?
No.
Wow. Well, you guys were down. So you guys met about 8 years ago, right? And so this whole thing with the above the hook concept, with the, how did that start? Or, I mean, who thought of that? Whose brainchild was that? Or was that a kind of a collective thing?
Well,
Mr. Paul Williams, huh?
Me being a child of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
One of my favorite basketball movies was Above the Rim.
Mm-hmm.
And
I noticed that parallel there. I noticed it. I wasn't sure if it was relevant, but there it is. It sure is. Okay.
But we had so many different names, and basically what had happened is, Ryan and I were taking trips down to La Jolla, fishing together. We were filming, and I took a couple classes with Final Cut Pro here at a local college called Allen Hancock. I actually worked for a news station, Fox 26 and KCOY here on the Central Coast, just doing small edits and stuff like that. And the program that we were editing in was called Final Cut Pro. And so I had a little bit of knowledge of that. And Ryan, just master of everything, and we started filming ourselves on the water with old GoPros. God, I even started with one of the Chinese GoPros, Zcam or something like that. I remember the first time I filmed, I didn't even have a mount for the kayak. I actually I took a PVC pipe and wrapped a rag around it and jammed it into my rod holder, and then configured a little contraption to hold the camera just so I could film myself on the water. And I think at that time Ryan was filming with like GoPro 3s or even maybe 2s or something like that.
Threes.
And so you could imagine the quality back then was just
Right.
compared to now. But you know, we started filming ourselves, and I said, hey man, you know, why don't we start posting this to YouTube and see if we get a response? You know, I mean, there's not a lot of guys doing this right now. There's a handful of guys that were doing it. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. So
well, I want to rewind that actually a little bit, Paul. It took a year before I said, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I was not really interested in it at first, just because I know the work it takes. Alex, I know, works on the Adobe Premiere Pro, which is the program that I'm using. And it's not a simple edit. I'll give you an example. The promo video that I made for this, I started it at 9 o'clock and I ended it around midnight.
Okay, right.
After the whole thing. And that was like, I think 1 minute and 12 seconds long. So imagine a 23-minute video. So it's pretty time consuming. And it goes again back to what Paul said. God bless the wives, because I do my best to wait till everyone goes to sleep to do that. But that's what really kind of kept me from doing the Above the Hook at first. And then ultimately about a year later, I did agree to it because I was finding myself doing it anyways. And I'm like, why not? Let's do it. And then, of course, Paul takes it above and beyond and actually gets like trademarks and business licenses. And I'm like, dude, I just wanted to make a YouTube video.
That's awesome, man.
Well, my background's in business management. So I started thinking legalities and trademarks and all those other things, because that's where my mind goes when it comes to this. You know, the intentions were never to become a YouTuber, you know.
Right.
It was really just to film our adventures and share it with everybody, and you know, and share with our families, because obviously they're not out on the water with us. So we come home and tell them all these stories. You know, for all our wives know, we're down the street chilling at the bar. So, but you know, it really did turn into it actually got pretty. Ryan got very involved and started to learn the programs, you know, in Premiere Pro and After Effects and all the different platforms that he uses to edit. And I was doing a lot of the commentary and stuff like that. And unfortunately, we had some things happen shortly after we really started Above the Hook. And I'm sure later on in this video or in this podcast we'll you know, touch on that. But anyways,
so here we are. Fast forward, and you got I think you got close to, correct me if I'm wrong, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and or maybe correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are in the thousands. I know that.
It's actually over 1,000. I think we're like close to like 1,200. That's kind of where we're at on that one.
Okay.
But before we kind of move on, Alex joined us at some point here, and I want to say something about Alex.
Please do.
One, he's not the sexiest guy.
Yeah.
That was great, Alex.
You were joking about the whole model thing, Alex?
Yeah, I guess.
No, that's true. You can see it in my bio.
Bullshit. No, but the thing about Alex is this: that the day I Instagrammed him, that when he mentioned when we first met, I'm like, hey, Alex, you want to meet up? He's like, yes. I meet him. He was there on time. He was ready to go. I call him up. I say, Alex, we're going to La Jolla. You want to go? Yes. He's gone. Wow. This is the kicker. Alex joined Above the Hook because this is kind of our thing, Paul and I. But Alex joined. We kind of asked him to kind of come in and help out, because the day that I decided, like, hey, I'm going to go to Panama, let's roll, I called Paul. He's like, yeah, I'm down. I said, you know, who can I call? I would call Alex. I called him up like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, Alex, I'm going to Panama. And he's like, when are we going? And I'm like,
wow.
We're going in August. And he's like, okay, send me the info. He paid for it before us. I mean, so I was like, this is the kind of guy that we need, because I know Paul had a lot of stuff going on in his own personal life, and I found myself doing a lot of the edits. And like I kind of described before, it's very time consuming, and I was finding that it was just killing me. And Alex had a background in editing, also in video work. He was interested in the sport, and I can rely on that guy for any trip that I throw out at him. And I'm like, dude, Paul, I call him up, and I'm like, we got to have Alex jump in on that. And Paul's like, absolutely. And boom, now he's on the lower left-hand corner of my screen here.
Yeah, man.
You know, it goes deeper than that, actually. I've been kayak fishing for about 14 years, actually. And
You got me beat.
and you know, when I started, the kayaks were wow, but you know, there wasn't that many people. It wasn't that active back then. And when I met these guys, it became more of a passion. It was more of a, you know what, I'm gonna chase this a little bit more, right? You know, kind of get deeper into this. I already enjoyed it, but you know, it also pushed me to you know, to extend in my photography, which that's what I've been into. That's one of my passions. But more than that, the personal part of it was the reason that I told Ryan, let's go, because I was at a point in my life where my focus was, I need to live. You know, we all get stuck in work. We all get stuck in all this other artificial stuff. And ultimately, you have to enjoy what you're doing on a day-by-day basis. And I saw my opportunity in kayak fishing, photography, videography that I was already into, and I said, I'm gonna make a change here. When opportunities arise, I'm gonna go. So, you know, this was the opportunity. Was, yeah, I'm good. Let's go, and that's how that kind of went off.
Wow, Alex, you know,
Admit, you were a Just Paul Williams Jr. fanboy. That's why you wanted to. That's what
Ryan
it was.
said, "Oh, there's Paul Williams Jr." And I was like, "Who's that?" But
no, but you bring up a good point, Alex, man.
but he's unforgettable from now. As of now,
Yeah.
You got to live, man. Yeah, you got to live. You got to love, you know, do what you enjoy doing. I don't care what it is, right? And like you said, man, to me that's really inspirational to hear you do that, man. That inspires me. That motivates me to, you know, to do this. You know, this is something I really, really love to do. You know,
Right.
I agree. Alex,
you know.
Alex inspires me every single day. If I'm down, I give him a call and he picks me right back up. And I think he really does bring that to our team.
He was a great addition, that's for sure.
Yeah,
he's a great addition.
That's awesome, man. So it's
and the other thing,
go ahead.
his video work style is completely different than mine too. So if you watch him, you can kind of tell who did what. You know, so it's kind of nice bringing like a different aspect of things and different like viewpoint of like fishing. I know he's more into the slow-mo stuff. I'm more into like the rapid fire kind of stuff. You know, so it kind of gives us like a good spectrum of kind of what we do on as our, I don't even want to call it a hobby. I mean, it is a passion. I can speak for all of us on that. So
for sure, man. No, so guys, let's get out into the ocean, man. Where have you guys gone, man? Like what are some places you've gone to fish and to experience this?
I mean, Paul, go for it, man.
You want to touch on Panama or?
Well, just kind of maybe like shoot them all out. That's kind of a unique place.
Rapid fire.
So we got pretty lucky a couple years ago and got invited to it was like a 13 or 14. Well, I can't remember. 13-14 man fishing tournament in Panama at a resort called Los Buzos. Very cool. I can't think of the actual town. You guys.
Capital.
What was it?
Was it a Capital?
Capital. So anyways, we flew into Panama City, and then we took about, a 10-hour drive into the jungle, basically, into the Amazonian or the Panamanian rainforest.
10 hours?
It was about 10-hour drive. You know,
I would say it's more 6.
You'd have to ask because Paul Williams Jr. had a little bit too much rum on that trip.
Yeah. Let me get you to the resort. Because Paul, Okay, so Panama's crazy, just so you know. If you guys ever go to Panama, if you go to Panama City, daytime's great. Nighttime, that's a different story. That place is freaking crazy.
Really?
Just be careful. Just be careful, right? So so we stayed the night in Panama City. We ended up jumping on the bus the next morning, and there's really, the laws are different. It's crazy. So we stopped at a convenience store. It's blazing hot. The bus driver's a hella cool dude, and he's like, "Stop, get what you need: drinks, alcohol, whatever." Paul thinks it's a good idea to get hard alcohol on a bus ride on a windy road. So it's funny. I'm sitting there in the bus, and the bus driver cracks open some booze and is drinking it, driving down a freeway. I'm just like, I'm not used to this. But meanwhile, Paul's sipping on this whatever it was. I just know it could take paint off the wall. And ultimately,
Nice.
that's when he loses consciousness. But basically, it's a 6-hour drive going into the Panamanian rainforest to a place called Los Buzos. It's a super isolated area specific to kayak fishing. It's an area that's
Really?
kind of yes, it's a protected area, like, meaning, when I mean protected, like when it comes down to surf and all of that, because it's like a natural reef that kind of blocks the surf. Now, we'll get into it a little further. It didn't block it that well when we were there, because it was probably the worst weather known to man when we got there. But it's one of the most premier places. I mean, we didn't have a good time, like, when it came down to, like, actually catching a large majority of fish, but the experience was awesome. And that place is probably one of the top places to fish. So I do want to give a shout out to Los Buzos. No, we're not sponsored by them. No, I have no affiliation with them, but it is that awesome of a place. You have to experience that. So by this time, Paul's getting sober, and I'll pass it back to Paul.
So I come to, and we're at Los Buzos Resort, and basically it's a fishing tournament that with some of the top anglers, kayak fishing anglers in the nation, and basically everybody comes together at this resort to catch massive species of fish, including roosterfish, marlin, several species of snapper, you name it. So that's, it's head over to our YouTube channel at Above the Hook, check out the Panama video, and you'll understand what we're talking about. But it's extreme kayak fishing to the fullest. I mean, we're talking the worst conditions possible. The last day we had to get picked up by a panga because
what's a panga?
A panga is a boat. It's a small boat that they use in Mexico, Panama.
Okay.
More. It's a fishing boat basically. And so they had to rescue us out of the water.
Oh, wow.
It's a very simplified fishing boat. It's literally made out of wood, and it looks like your old-fashioned kind of rowboats, but they're like 30 feet long. They got an outboard on them, and so they had to go out and rescue the kayakers because the out there what they call the S curve. It's an S curve, so it's like a natural reef that's kind of shaped like an S that blocks the swell. And it was basically, the swell was blowing straight through the S curve, which is a sharp, like rock infested area you got to go through. So they threw everyone in the pangas and basically kind of motored them through there. And the look on Paul's face kind of says it all in the video.
To give you an idea, the panga driver or the panga operator basically quit that day and said he was never going to do it again in his life. That's how bad the conditions were.
Wow, and you guys were out there, and so you had obviously, I think they rescued you and all your equipment, right?
Oh,
your kayaks weren't left behind or anything like that, right?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
wouldn't say they rescued us. They just felt it was safer for us to be picked up and driven through the S curve the safest way possible. The weather there was turning quickly, and I gotta mention that the weather is not like that regularly. It just so happened at the time that we arrived, we got epic, and I don't mean epic as in good, weather conditions, from electrical storms to winds just starting up at a moment's notice
out of nowhere.
And and the swells. I wouldn't call them swells. Out in the open, these waves just turn into monsters, and they just turned on at a moment's notice.
Now, there was points
Alex.
where Alex was probably about 20 foot above me on a wave.
Jeez.
And I was below him. I was just looking up, going, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God," and then I above him.
Now, were you guys getting nervous at any point in time there? I mean, were you guys thinking like,
I was. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it started with getting nervous, especially for me. I think because my kayak ended up taking water, so I needed to field scoop it out. And after I got through that and kind of figured that part out, it turned into adrenaline. And then ultimately for me, what happens is when I get into a situation like that, the adrenaline goes in, and I turn into excitement. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that weather, but I was nervous to begin with. Yeah.
So that was
for me. I mean, I got to experience that 20-foot wave personally that Paul was talking about. I was so happened. I was in one particular spot where there's 20-foot waves that roll by you, which will just lift you and roll you over. And then there's 20-foot surf, which breaks on you. And I had to crank real hard on my kayak to pedal up this 20-foot surf to hit the top of the break out in open water. And I got to experience that firsthand. And in fact, I will say that short little clip is in that promo video for this live feed. You can see it when I get hit by it. It was a very interesting experience because I never got to experience such a large wave out in open water. There's a difference between open water and surf break. Open water, I was never expecting it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So you were out there.
Just to add on to that real quick, that about the same wave that he took on right before that, I was taking in water and I saw him down the water a bit, and we were turning what was that breaker called? Does any of you guys remember?
That's
Vaca.
So we were turning Vaca, and we knew to turn it as wide as possible. So that's where Ryan was at, as far out away from Vaca as possible. And I didn't have that luxury. I had to make a decision because I was taking on water. So I actually said, you know what, I'm going to cut through here. And I took the surf of my life on a kayak, and I'll never forget that. That wave was huge, and I ended up surfing it down. And luckily I made it, but that was probably somewhere around the same wave that you took on head on. I surfed that, and it was
You're
great.
welcome. I warmed it up for you.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, you guys are, I'm like at the edge of my seat right now, man. And listening to that, I'm picturing myself in that, trying to picture myself and what would I do in that situation, man? Like, so you guys went to Panama. Have you? I'm assuming that you've been up and down the California coast.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Panama is definitely the furthest we've been.
Mm-hmm.
We like to fish south because of all the pelagic species of fish that you can catch down there. They're a lot more fun. Here on the Central Coast, we basically fish for rockfish, which is basically what you purchase from the supermarket if you're going to do a fish fry or something like that. But
Gotcha.
When you go down south, where we frequent mostly is La Jolla, California, right in Orange County, California. I believe La Jolla. No, it's San Diego. San Diego, California.
For sure.
The water tends to be a little warmer. Here on the Central Coast, our water temperatures range from about 52 degrees to 56 degrees.
Okay.
We don't get that warm water, top water species of fish like yellowtail and tuna.
I see.
And stuff like that. So we head down south. That's the reason why we go down south so much, is because we can catch that bigger, larger species of fish. That's a lot more fun to catch. But then on the other side, I'm not such a lake fisherman, but these guys do frequent lakes up north.
Okay. I was about to ask, you do lakes?
Maybe I'll let Ryan or Alex kind of talk more about that.
So definitely on top of what Paul's saying, I fish down in like Cabo San Lucas also quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
So I like it down there. So we always go with this particular charter. I can never get a kayak down there, and you can't rent kayaks. So I do the boat fishing. That's really the only time I do boat fishing. Other than that, I'm on kayak. But regarding like the lakes and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, I think Alex and I, probably more me, it's more inclined to do lake fishing. And there's a lot of people that like lake fishing. I don't. I'll go if the weather's bad because it's fishing and it gets me outside. It gets me out there. But the best way I can describe why I specifically don't like lake fishing, because when I first started kayak fishing, I lake fished all the time. But then I went ocean fishing and got a bigger fish and then a bigger one. So I kind of describe it in a way like drug addicts. You start off with a little bit and then you tend to kind of like build the tolerance to it and you want more.
You start feeding.
Yeah. So now I'm just like, and I think that's where Alex is at. It's like, I want to find like that yellowtail instead of a rock cod. But if I can't get that, I'm going to go to the ocean for a rock cod. If I can't get that, I'm going to go to these lakes to get these massive trout, the biggest trout I can find. And if not that, I'll go to the smaller fish just to get my fix. Yeah. You know, so, but yeah, I recently fished like Kings River down here with Total Baits, Ron Redding from Total Baits, got him out. As another example, I took him out on that video that I posted on YouTube. I clearly state that, Ron likes kayak fishing. I think he's going to buy one. 2 days later, he bought one. So he never done it before. So just, again, there's another example, Andy. Just be ready, man.
Yeah, man. Exactly. And so it sounds like you guys have a shared love, passion for, photography, videography / fishing. And I think, Ryan, you and I kind of touched on this a couple days ago, where I think if you had to choose one, fishing would be probably your first love, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you had to choose.
Sure. Yeah.
And what about you, Paul and Alex? If you guys had to kind of make a choice, okay, one or the other, which one would it be? Photography or would it be fishing?
Go ahead,
for you
Paul.
guys?
What's up?
Go ahead, Paul.
For me, to be honest with you, it'd probably be fishing. I'm an adventurer, a thrill seeker. It's funny because when anybody asks, I always tell everybody I'm not a fisherman, to be honest with you. I like to fish, but to be honest with you, I'm there for the adventure,
okay,
the thrill, and to hang out with my homies. I think that's the best part of it. Fishing just comes with it all.
I got
and
you.
if I catch a fish, it's exciting, but I like to be on the water with my boys. And I think one thing about Above the Hook, and I think we can all agree on this, is our purpose is to really just meet new, interesting people and get on the water with them, learn more about them, maybe learn from them, and enjoying the adventure of it all. That's where I stand.
And live life, huh? Just like Alex said, man. Live
Right.
life, enjoy life, do what you enjoy, what you're doing, enjoy
Absolutely.
what you love to do.
For me, photography, it kind of came second. I like to film and stuff like that, but these two guys are masters. Basically, they can be Dr. Dre and I'll be Eminem, if you want to look at that.
Yeah, it's not a bad
I'll take
combo,
that.
man.
I'll take that.
It's not a bad combo. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with Above the Hook Productions live here on Profile Pod TV. Guys, so in one of your videos, and it's in, I think your promotional video, I think it is, where you guys are on. There's an above the, you're up above. I think it's a drone shot, and there's a big ass whale right next to one of you guys. Tell us about that, man. Who was that on the kayak next to a big ass whale, man?
Right. So
That's gnarly, man.
Paul was the closest one. He was in that the brown colored kayak. I was in the red kayak.
Okay.
It's actually probably one of my highlights of my kayak fishing career, and I do truly mean that. Strictly for the odds. I want to describe the size of the ocean.
Yeah, right.
It's 75% of the world.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It's kind of big.
So imagine the odds of us being right there. So whales can dive for. This is not uncommon. Just so you know, we see whales all the time.
No shit.
Okay. What is uncommon is getting enough time to set up a drone and launch it, which takes about 10 minutes, and get it up in the air before that whale's gone, which it usually is. In this particular case, why it's one of my most favorite moments is because that particular day there was no whale in sight. I had my drone on board. I wanted to let it go. It was malfunctioning. There was issues. I finally just said, screw it, let it go. It went up, and right when it went up, that whale popped up.
Gosh,
like,
man,
what are the odds?
Well,
right?
you didn't even know you were filming. You're like, I don't even know if I pressed record.
Yeah, that's true. I might have been too stoked, but I knew I saw it in the actual frame on my kayak when I was holding it. So I saw it breach up and take a breath, and then it went under close enough where I knew it wasn't going to go deep. So I immediately just took that drone straight up and pointed that camera straight down for the best possible shot. And ultimately we got that shot. And everyone always says, "Oh my God, aren't you scared? That's a huge animal." Whales are big balls of fat moving slow through the ocean. I'm not worried about whales too much. You can get out of the way typically. They usually know where you're at. They usually go around you. But to be able to get that shot, and if you guys are watching, it'll pop up on my screen behind me at some point.
Yeah, I saw it.
Right. To get that shot was honestly, I think, a once in a lifetime shot, in all honesty.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah, that is phenomenal. Phenomenal shot, man. I kind of want to get into your equipment, guys. Let's talk about what you guys take out there when you're out there. Obviously, you have your kayak, you have your GoPros, your cameras, your drones. Let's get into that, man. Specifically, how much stuff do you take? How much does it weigh?
Alex, you want to take that one?
Kitchen sink.
Lots of expensive equipment. Shouldn't be around salt water. But
we should own stock with GoPro. Let's say that. We should have
stock. Talk about what we've lost or what we currently have.
I think Ryan has the record for most GoPros lost. I think I have the record for most expensive camera lost.
Yes.
I typically will take 2 to 3 GoPros. I will take right now I'll take a EOS R camera with a couple lenses and a couple extra batteries. Every once in a while, depending on the conditions of the water, I'll take a Phantom Pro drone, and other than that, most of everything is just your fishing equipment that I'll take.
You guys wear life preservers, obviously, right? I think.
Yes, always.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's actually a must.
No, yeah. She goes without saying. So let's talk the kayak itself, man. I know it's made by Hobie, right?
Yeah, Hobie kayaks.
How long is the kayak? What's the weight capacity on that kayak?
So it just depends on what year you're talking about. The newer ones are higher weight capacity, 425 pounds it'll hold, and we max those things out. They're pretty good. They're designed specifically for fishing. So I will do a shout out for Hobie for sure, because again, not affiliated, but they're if you're into cars, they are like the Ferraris, the Bugattis, the Lamborghinis of kayaks.
Gotcha.
You pay for it according to imagine what a kayak costs. I mean, you go to Walmart and see a Sun Dolphin for like $200 or whatever, but these things range. I mean, they're up to, I think, almost like $7,000 stock. But yeah, the weight capacity is great on them. They're specifically built for kayaking, for like how you mount gear, and like some of the main things that I want to kind of point out, like I feel is important. You mentioned like they call it a personal flotation device, a PFD. It's life jacket. We always wear those. I don't care if it's a lake. I don't care if it's a river. We wear them. We're ambassadors to the sport. We have to kind of put out there safety. Safety is important. One of the other things that we never kind of leave out on the ocean is like VHF radios. Okay. So this is actually a Coast Guard radio. So if we have issues like Alex and, not Panama because there's no Coast Guard out there, but if he was taking on water out here, we can go to the channel, call the Coast Guard and call for help. Sweet. So we don't leave that. We don't hit the ocean without that. And the next thing that I want to point out is, which I can't turn it on, but it's the we run computer systems on our kayaks. A lot of people are shocked, but they're basically fish finders, and these have built-in GPS. So I find this super important for unknown places we've been, so we can find our way back. And two, on the Central Coast, the fog is horrendous. You will get turned around. You have no clue which way you're going, and you're literally following a line back home.
Jeez.
So this here is also important.
Critical.
And along with the bilge pump, Alex can speak to that. He had to use a bilge pump to keep from sinking. When it comes down to camera equipment for me, what I wanted to kind of show you, I grabbed it, is this is probably my go-to camera right here. And this is a DJI Osmos Pocket, super small. And the reason why I like it, it's gimbal. So if you're familiar with how drones work,
yes.
So the camera is on a swivel, so it takes out all the vibration. But the reason why I like this is that I'm going to turn it on now. This is how quick I'm ready to go to film, and now I can film.
Very
so
cool.
when that whale pops up and leaves, I know I can pull this out of my pocket and have it turned on like in 10 seconds, and I'm recording. So that's just another thing. Not waterproof, by the way. So if I lose it, it's gone.
It's not waterproof?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
And DJI, I think they make drones, right? Also.
Yeah, DJI makes drones. And kind of going back to the Hobie, because a lot of people talk about them. I brought my drive in. I don't know if we can see it because I'm pretty close here, but a lot of people ask about like how the propulsion system works, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is it's kind of like a flipper system.
Gotcha.
You kind of see how it moves through the water. And Hobie, I don't know if they came up with this, but if they did, they're brilliant because they actually mimic how penguins swim.
Oh, okay.
So it's
cool.
It's a pretty unique design, and we can cruise like 4 miles an hour on our kayak easily.
That's awesome, man.
I've gotten it up to 6 miles per hour on that drive system. So
I've gotten it at 6.1 miles per hour.
Whatever.
Hey, you guys are competitive, man.
I think we are.
Bit.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's so. Ryan, you mentioned there's no affiliation with Hobie. I was about to ask. Are you guys any type of collaboration with Hobie or any of the companies that make your stuff and your equipment? You guys ambassadors?
Yeah, I mean, we got people that we work with for sure. Some of the people like Kinetic Clothing, Astro Footwear, Crafted Fishing Rods is another one. Pro Kayak Fishing is another one. It's an online website. Hobie, that's a huge company. That's international. I mean, it's a huge company. Now we know a lot of people that work for Hobie. We fished with them. We talk with them all the time. We're very good. I'm still waiting for my black and red camo. I'm waiting for it. I keep asking them. I'm waiting for it. I want a black and red camo kayak. So hopefully one of these days they'll hear me out. But yeah, no affiliation with Hobie, but we swear by them hands down. I wouldn't buy anything else. I find that they're built for safety. We're going out, up to 5 miles out in the ocean on a piece of plastic. I don't want to sink. I want to make sure I can get back, and I have the utmost faith and respect for that kayak, and it's always gotten me home. So
absolutely, yeah, those kayaks are sharp, man. They look sharp, man.
I'm sold. I'm buying one.
So you mentioned you guys go out to lakes, you guys go out to ocean. What is there like is a kind of a recruiting process for you guys? Right now you're three guys. Are you guys always, is it a thing where it's just going to be, are you guys looking to expand above the Hook Productions, bring in more members, or that type of thing? How does that play out for you guys?
Paul?
Well, I think we can leave the options open, but at the same time, we've all known each other for so long now. We know how each other operates.
Yeah.
Above the Hook is one of those things to where we truly do this to just share our adventures with our family and friends. And we like to showcase, other kayak fishermen. You'll see in our channel, other guys that we fish with, other members of our teams. Like, we're all on a team called Pro Kayak Fishing, and we fish with those guys a lot. And it's what would it be called? A pro team. And so we'll showcase those guys in some of the videos. But being part of this crew it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work, and it'd be hard to ask somebody else to contribute. But I guess, I don't know, if the right person came along that wanted to help contribute, and they, wanted to commit to doing crazy 48-hour trips with no sleep, I think,
yeah,
the possibilities are endless. Maybe a female that would want to represent the sport. I don't know. We're just bros, I mean, we're best friends. We're not just business partners. We're best friends. And it goes beyond kayak fishing for us three. A couple years ago, my wife was diagnosed with cancer and interductal carcinoma. She had breast cancer, and without these two guys, I might not be here today. So it goes way beyond kayak fishing and a partnership and all that stuff. I mean, we truly are best friends, and we talk a lot more. We talk more about other things other than fishing and what have you. So, I mean, we're very close. So it would take a very special person to this crew
to fit in with the puzzle, right?
Yeah, what I'll say to that, Alex was never supposed to be in a part of this, but Alex, exactly how Paul described. I mean, he had the dedication, he had the passion, he clicked with us, and here he is. So I don't plan on ever expanding, but I thought that prior to Alex too. So you never know. So yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it looks like each one of you plays a role of some sort, or maybe not. Maybe you guys share roles, but each one of you brings something special, something different to the table, right? But I think at the end of the day, all of you have that skill set of videography, photography, fishing. But I don't know. Do you guys divvy up roles or a certain way or anything like that?
I think they actually change a bit. And I think it has a lot to do with what Paul just said right now is there's a friendship first, and there's a bond that has been created out of this. And, we have families, we have jobs. So our situations at home change regularly. And as they do, we take on different types of responsibility. And pretty much what we do is just back each other up. If someone's too busy at some point because of what's going on with their personal life, somebody else will step up. And that's how we've been doing it. And because we base it off of a friendship and a bond.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think more so than like having like different roles of part of the team. I think we all kind of contribute the same way. I think it's more geared towards our personalities. Paul is insane. I'm more of kind of like the mellow guy, and Alex is even more low key. So it kind of goes back to Alex and I's style of video making. It's a broad spectrum of stuff. So I think it makes it more interesting, a different viewpoint. And I think with the three different personalities that we have, it kind of divvies out that. And I think it's more geared towards our personalities. We're all capable of video editing and filming, and we're all capable of kayak fishing. So I think it's more of that.
I see. And by the way, I see your logo, your logo and your hat. You're wearing your merch there. Are you guys selling merch at this point in time, or is it exclusive? You guys are not. Are you not there yet, or is that in the plans at all?
No, it's something I know I'm for sure not interested. I think Paul would be more interested in that. Everything that we purchased and set up, like these hats, shirts, stickers, whatever it may be. Kayak fishermen are way into stickers. I still trying to figure that out, but they are. But we give all those away. So any new guy that I meet, like when we go fishing, if I have hats in my car, I give them hats. You know, I
Okay.
think it's just getting people, again, it comes back down to getting people like stoked on the fact of going out and trying something different and doing this sport that we love, and just giving them something as simple as that. It can spark it and get them going. I'll send stuff out, like different merch to like people down wherever. I'll mail it out. I'll send it to their kid. If their kid has like a nice catch that they caught off the shore, I'll send them tackle. You know, just anything to like, you know, just kind of promote the sport. It's not.
We do a lot of giveaways.
What's that, Paul?
We do a lot of giveaways on Instagram.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look for that.
I don't. Yeah.
I gotta cut me one of those hats, man. I gotta get me one of those.
We'll get you one, dude. No problem. We'll get you one. But I do it to promote the sport and the passion of this, and get people out there, get people trying the sport. That's kind of the way I look at it. And you know, it does put a smile on their face at the end of the day. And I think that's kind of what it's all about, meeting new people. Like Paul said, that's the primary reason why I started it, is to motivate me to get out and try new things and meet new people.
Absolutely, man. No, that's great, man. I think, like I said, man, what you guys do is truly unique, man. Very, very special. I saw the bond right away the other day when we had that little pre-production meeting. You know, I could tell you guys have really solid chemistry together. You guys are super close, man. Very professional, classy individuals, man. Fishing, man. I'm not too familiar with fishing, but I can tell you that you guys are great representations of fishing. You guys make me want to go out and, you know, explore and get, you know, explore fishing, man. And like I said, I've fished probably literally, I don't know, twice in my life, man. But seeing you guys, man, you guys inspire me to go, okay, man, maybe I'm missing out on something. I think I'm obviously I'm missing out on a lot of stuff, but yeah, man, you know, you guys are truly unique, man, and I appreciate that. So what about you guys consider yourselves like, I don't know, do people like call you, hey, you guys are thrill seekers or daredevils or anything like that, man? Risk takers, extreme sport, you know, I don't know. You guys, would you categorize yourselves in any one of those?
All the above.
All the above.
I think there's a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there isn't, just because, you know, it does take a little bit of guts to get out there and do that. We get that a lot. I think is you go out there in the ocean with sharks on that plastic kayak,
In a plastic boat.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, no doubt, man.
And then going back to the part where, you know, it starts with being nervous and then excitement at the end. I think that is a little bit of that thrill seeker in there, adventure seeker.
For sure.
We all have that in us, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and then
I could.
Go ahead.
I can agree to that too. I mean, I know. Again, like I mentioned, I have like a super long drive, and I'm by myself, and it's dead at night, so I have a lot of time to think about all the bad things that can happen. So by the time I get there, I'm so like worked up. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I basically go hit the head real quick, and then I launch. You know, and the second my feet hit the ocean, honestly, I forget about all of that. My focus is getting out there, like paying attention to the weather. You know, my focus is completely off. I could have been just like freaking out, you know, running through my head, just but it all goes away the second I hit the water. So I don't consider myself to be like a daredevil. I think overall it's safe. I never like have ever felt fear for my life.
Okay.
You know, the worst case scenario, what I do fear the most is losing like thousands of dollars worth of gear in the ocean. Because when you roll, it's gone, you know, so you don't want to do that. So it's more of the fear of losing gear financially than it is my life, because I wear my life jacket. I'm going to float. I know how to get back on my kayak if it flips, you know. So it's I wouldn't consider it to be a daredevil thing. But like I think Paul said, every time I come back onto the beach, a crowd of people are like, and they're like surrounding us. What'd you catch? Why do you do that? That seems scary. There's sharks. Are there sharks in there? And I say, is the water salty? Yes, there's sharks in there. They're everywhere. I mean,
Wow,
but
man.
they typically they're not there to bug you. It's always mistaken identity if there is an issue.
For
A
sure.
lot of them are interested and want to try it. Is really why they're asking all the questions.
Oh, I bet, man.
Yeah.
I bet you're sparking a lot of curiosity to onlookers. I know I would be, man, if I saw you guys coming off the beach, and into the beach, and you guys hauling your kayak, right? I see you guys.
Yeah.
And you coming back in ashore. I bet you people are just mesmerized with that stuff, man.
Yeah, I think there's a question here from Ray Laura.
Ray Loetta, yes. Penelope Ray's Boutique. What is she was asking? Let's see where she have you ever, let's go ahead and show that on the
check that out.
Yeah. Thank you for joining the show, Ray. And we'll get to Jose. Jose's here too, by the way, guys. Ryan. Have any
What's
of you
up,
guys
Jose?
Yeah. Have any of you guys been attacked or had your kayak bumped by a shark?
No, but we'd appreciate it.
I'm sure.
And if we saw a fin, we'd probably go for a further investigation.
I could say I've had sharks pass by. I've had sharks pass by me. I've seen them. I've caught them. Alex will probably go into his story on that one. I've witnessed a shark attack on one of my buddies. We were out at a fishing tournament. We usually keep our fish in the back of our kayak, not in the water. And just so you know, where we fish is dead center of what's called the Red Triangle. Red Triangle is like a place where all the big white sharks go. And we launched like dead center down the middle of it. So look it up, Red Triangle. You'll see the points, and right where the middle is where we're at. But we were out at a tournament. He dropped his fish in literally for like 30 seconds to just like, so they're not out in the sun all the time. And a shark grabbed that thing. And funny story, he was having issues with his equipment. So I heard him cussing and swearing about that. Didn't think nothing of it. Next thing you know, I hear cussing and swearing, and I look back, thinking it was equipment, but his kayak was literally like spinning in circles and then got drug underwater. And it was the shark holding onto this and pulling the kayak down, and it finally ripped it off. And then that shark followed us. That shark followed us 2 miles back. We could look back and see the fin just kind of following. And then, of course, one of our other buddies back in 2014 was attacked. I think it's actually a record on California, 21-foot great white shark, what they call Polaris attack, hit him straight up underneath his kayak and ejected him. But he's fine.
Oh, gosh.
So no, I've never personally been attacked. I've seen them, I've witnessed it, but I've never personally been involved. So
unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's but hey, man, that's the risk you take. I think it's the risk you take, I guess, right?
Well, we don't even think about it.
You don't think about it, right? Yeah.
No, it's not something that even crosses your mind until you see a fin.
What's it? Yeah, right.
I've had
or when you get to the beach, when you get to the beach, Paul, and see one of these signs right here that's on my screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
They'll post signs like shark sighting, be aware. We're getting ready to launch, and we're like, all right, let's go. It's a lightning strike. I mean, you're more likely to get hit by a lightning strike.
Well, I think we can all agree that we see a shark. Well, it's good for film.
Right.
Well, I think you're more likely to get your fish pulled off by a sea lion, which is what happened to me, not knowing that it was a sea lion. But you can imagine getting a sea lion to rip the fish off the back of your kayak and making all that noise. You're right away. You're thinking, what the heck is that? But that was one of my biggest scare right there.
Wow, man. Go ahead, Paul. No.
No, I was just saying, I think my biggest scare was actually a sunfish, or what's called a mula mula. Ryan and I, if you check out our YouTube channel Above the Hook on YouTube, we encountered a sunfish, and basically they stick their top fin out of the water, and it very much looks like a white shark fin. And well, when we see things like that, we want to investigate. We want to see what it is,
Sure.
and so we get a little closer. And thank God it was a mula and not a great white shark. But
Yeah,
that was definitely amazing.
I bet, man. No, I was gonna say, what I can liken it to, maybe you go on a hike, just an everyday hike, in the hills somewhere, and then you see signs, rattlesnakes are present, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, they're there, but you're not really gonna stop going on the hike.
No.
The likelihood of you seeing a rattlesnake is low. I think maybe that's kind of. I'm just trying to put a little perspective on my end for what you guys do, but with the sharks,
No, you're really describing it. That's exactly what it is. I mean, the only difference is that we're in their food chain versus a rattlesnake. You can't. I haven't been able to run on water yet, but maybe Alex, the male model, can. But
maybe,
you're in their world, so I mean, you're kind of not at the top of the food chain. But other than that, I mean, you're hitting it right on the head. I mean, we deal with driving in our vehicle every day. It's really no different. I mean, you get in a car accident, you just got to be wise, be safe, have that radio, have your life jacket. Never fish alone in the ocean or even lakes. But my rule is I never fish alone. If it's a perfect day and no one can go, I don't go. That's just it.
Yeah. Well, no, safety's was of utmost, priority, right? Safety and
absolutely. We're on the buddy system. We never go out by ourselves.
No doubt.
And that's the cool thing about about having the three of us, is that if I can't go, well then those two will go. If Ryan can't go, then we'll head out with Alex or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good thing about having three of us.
That's awesome, man. That's all, guys. Let's go to Jose. Jose said that Ryan, you're a psychic. You aren't scared of shit. Is that
That's
true?
Right. I deal with some
maybe
crazy
he's scared
people.
of shit.
That's true. Gassing. Yeah.
Jose Perez, thank you for
Jose.
joining us here on the
buddy.
Profile Pod TV. And it was actually Jose who kind of linked us together. So he plays a very pivotal role here. Jose, thank you.
Might I add, he linked us together when I was sleeping at 11:30 at night. By the way, he texted me, and I'm just like, "What the hell?" So of course, right away, I'm texting him back.
Yeah, man. No. Hey guys, so what's next for Above the Hook, man? What's the maybe, I don't know, a year to 3 year timeline down? What are some goals for you guys? Any upcoming trips that you hope to take?
Yeah, we definitely have some trips planned. I mean, it's all kind of like we mentioned earlier, this COVID thing. We watch that very closely because it means we go on trips or we don't. So from my understanding, Tuesday, we're supposed to hear possibly like third phase will kick in, which will open up everything for us. We have coming up here July 10th the 11th through the 14th, we'll be doing the mothership trip out to San Clemente Island, which is a naval island, which is interesting because they just blow the crap out of that thing up with bombs while you're out there and all of that. But it's 70 miles offshore. They throw your kayaks in a boat. They take you out there. You stay the night out there 2 nights, and you fish for some massive fish out there. So that's kind of planned. We have another trip planned to like way far south. I won't get into that one too much. You just have to wait and see. But we'll be going pretty far south, Alex and I, and that's going to be sometime in July. So that's coming up. As for plans in future, for me, it goes back to fishing and kayak fishing being like my meth. Honestly, I'm kind of continuing doing what I'm doing, try to balance home life and my passion, and really just try to go out and try new things, catch bigger fish. I want to really try to like accomplish one of these days here in the near future, like a marlin off of a kayak, or potentially with the San Clemente Island trip, a bluefin tuna. And if anyone's ever watched Wicked Tuna, that's a bluefin tuna. Imagine it on a kayak. These are one of the fastest swimming fish, strongest fish. I guarantee if we if we run into these guys when we go, like last year, we missed it by a week. If we hook into one, that skiff, we're going to be radioing, and they're going to find us 12 to 20 miles out to sea, further than where we started, because that's what's going to happen. And I want that opportunity. So
Wow.
I'm ultimately just trying to cure my addiction, which is by giving more, injecting more, as Jose, you know, get it in there.
Right,
You know?
right, man. And Ryan, and by the way, if you do catch, I mean, when you guys do catch these large fish, man, I mean, do you guys, is there something you put them in, like a net to kind of tow it, or do you put it onto the kayak for the larger fish? You know, how does that work?
Honestly, on a kayak, I haven't caught a large enough fish to not keep on my kayak. And in all
Okay.
honesty, if I caught a marlin or anything like that, I would probably release it anyways. Bluefin tuna is a different story. I would keep that, but I would have a skiff or one of those Zodiac boats. They would be following me. And I would just tell them to put it in their boat and take it back to the boat while I paddle back.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, shout out to Lydia Arguello. I don't know if you guys saw that.
That's my daughter.
Oh, okay, that's your daughter. Hello, Lydia. Shout out to Lydia. Thank you for watching. Awesome, man. Awesome, man. You know, hey guys, man, this has been a very, very special treat for me, man. I've learned so much about what you guys do. This has been an adventure. I want to thank you guys for joining us, man. You guys are welcome back anytime. Maybe we'll bring you down, you know, after the summer or whenever, and see what you guys have been up to. I'm curious to see what the future has in store for you guys for Above the Hook Productions. You know, you guys have a strong social media presence on YouTube, and I know that's only going to continue to grow. And I'm really, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you guys here, man, because, you know, I'm trying to get my thing going, and you guys, man, that, you know, have helped me here today coming on, and thank you for being here, man.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
That's what we're all about, man. We want to promote like good people, good companies. And just in closing for me, like I mentioned earlier, anyone who watches the show either live or afterwards, go hit up our Instagram. It's Above the Hook Productions. Go to our YouTube, shoot us a message. If you're interested in doing this and you want to make it out this way, I got extra gear. We'll get you out on the water. We'll show you what's up. We welcome everyone to the sport. And it'd be surprised how many people reach out to us and how many people we get turned onto this sport and get them out there.
Wow.
And that ultimately goes down to their own family. I see some of the people that we got into the sport take their kids out now, you know, so it's cool to see for us this sport grow. You know, when we started, it wasn't that big of a deal, but we're starting to see more companies come out with fishing specific kayaks. You know, so it's a big deal, and we want to get people involved. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out. We will answer you. I promise you that.
Oh man, I bet. And by the way, do you guys do any East Coast trips?
Not yet.
We've had a lot of invites.
We have a lot of invites. Yeah, like with this thing, we've met a lot of people all the way to Melbourne, Australia,
Oh, wow.
New Zealand. A lot of people in Florida we know.
Europe.
You know, Ivy Harris, Europe. You know, Ivy Harris out in Florida welcomes us all the time out there, and I would definitely love to fish Florida one of these days.
Absolutely.
Who was that in Florida?
His name's Ivy Harris. He's out there, and we met him actually through Panama, and he's always welcomed us out there, and I definitely wouldn't mind getting out there and taking him up on that offer for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Have you guys seen? I saw Hammerhead Boys or something like that. I don't know if you guys seen them.
Well, I might have actually.
Yeah, Hammerhead Boys, I believe is their name on Instagram, and they do you know, something similar where they're fishing out in deep sea and stuff like that. Anyways, I was just curious. But yeah, guys, man, I think we're seeing the tip of the iceberg here for you guys for what you guys do, and you know, I appreciate you guys again, man, being here. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, you and your families, and in your, you know, your regular jobs, and as well as obviously your adventure here with Above the Hook, man, Above the Hook Productions. So
send me your address, man. I'll send you a hat.
Oh, okay. You serious?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I send anyone a hat. Well, hold on, whoa. Most people, I typically give them out, but I definitely will send people out hats for sure, and that's not a problem.
Oh man, I appreciate that, Ryan. Okay, I'll do that, man. Well, like I said, guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Above the Hook Productions, Paul Williams, Ryan Arguello, and Mr. Alex Casillas, the model. Want to thank you guys again for being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you as well for tuning in. And those who are live here with us, you guys are the best, man. I appreciate all the viewers, the listeners. You guys will be able to catch this as well on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as soon as we rip the audio, and this will become a simulcast when we do that. We do that with every episode. So if you want to come on to Profile Pod TV and showcase yourself, maybe you have a podcast, maybe you have a unique passion like these gentlemen have. Let's get you on here. Let's get you on here to promote whatever that is. Let's get you more exposure. Let's help each other out. I'm trying to grow my podcast. So again, if you're a musician, actor, maybe you own a record label, maybe you produce music, whatever that case may be, let's get you on here. Hit me up on Instagram, Profile Pod TV, or shoot me an email at the Profile Pod TV at gmail.com. So again, it's been a pleasure being here with you guys. We will be back next week on Profile Pod TV. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as hit up Above the Hook on YouTube. I think that's what it's called, right, guys? Above the Hook on your YouTube.
Above the Hook Productions. Yeah.
And you can see all their adventures. You can see all their footage. It's mind blowing. You guys got to check it out. So check that out. Check them out on Instagram, and you guys will not be disappointed. So again. And like us, give me a review on Apple Podcasts at 90s Galore. It's under 90s Galore. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts as well. So follow us on Instagram, like, follow, share, all that good stuff. Once again, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week on Profile Pod TV. Until then, for Above the Hook Productions, I'm Andy Anatomical with Profile Pod TV. Thank you for being here, and always remember to take it easy.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, buddy.